Where were the parents? Where were these parents? I don't understand that somebody so young doesn't have somebody on their side around them.
And our attitude towards life, and sometimes when life throws you things that you can't control, naturally your attitude is to be upset or to be disappointed or discouraged.
Hailey Bieber just dropped some serious bombshells, and if you thought you knew everything about Justin Bieber's past, think again. Having been by Justin's side for over a decade, through the ups, downs, and some of his darkest moments, Hailey has seen and heard it all. But now she's opening up about some shocking truths, particularly about Justin's connection to Diddy. And it's not pretty. What makes this even more intense is that these are things Justin has been ashamed of, stuff he likely kept buried because he didn't want the world to know. And honestly, you can't blame him. From early career pressures to questionable relationships and behind-the-scenes moments we never saw, what Hailey is revealing paints a picture that's far more complicated and disturbing than anyone realized. The truth behind Justin and Diddy's past might make you see everything in a new light, and the details are wilder than you'd expect. So get ready, because this is about to uncover some deep, messy secrets. But before we get into it, make sure to give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to never miss out on any new videos. It's free and helps us tremendously bring out new content for your enjoyment. The tangled history between Justin Bieber, Diddy, and Usher is once again under the spotlight, and this time, things are getting even messier. A former Playboy model has stepped in, doubling down on claims that Diddy and the people around him can't be trusted. And honestly, with everything going on, it's hard to ignore how these past ties might have affected a young Justin Bieber. Let's rewind for a second. Years ago, Diddy's influence over rising stars in the industry was massive. Usher himself has talked about being sent to Diddy's so-called flavor camp during his teenage years. And if Usher's words are anything to go by, what he witnessed there was, well, let's just say, curious and unsettling. Now, with Diddy facing mounting allegations of sex trafficking, racketeering, and a slew of other disturbing charges, it's raising more questions about his past relationships with young artists, Justin included. The speculation surrounding Justin and Diddy isn't exactly new, but the conversation feels heavier now. Diddy's status as the industry's self-proclaimed gatekeeper for years gave him unprecedented access to young talent. And while Justin hasn't directly accused Diddy of misconduct, whispers of how his well-being may have been impacted are growing louder. It's worth noting that Justin entered the industry as a child star, vulnerable to the pressures and pitfalls of fame, and his connection to Diddy during those formative years has always sparked curiosity. Now, as Diddy faces fire from every direction over his alleged crimes, the focus is shifting. People are asking tough questions about what went on behind the scenes and whether Diddy's influence had a darker impact than we ever realized. With Usher's stories resurfacing and insiders continuing to speak out, it feels like we're only scratching the surface. At just 15 years old, Justin Bieber, the young superstar behind Never Say Never, crossed paths with Sean Diddy Combs thanks to his connection with Usher. It's well known that Usher, who played a big role in mentoring Bieber early in his career, was himself taken under Diddy's wing during his teenage years. That connection set the stage for Bieber's own relationship with Diddy, and it's a friendship that's now being examined under a microscope. Videos and photos of a teenage Bieber hanging out with the much older rapper, particularly at Diddy's lavish white parties, have resurfaced and fueled a fresh wave of scrutiny. People are questioning why a child star like Justin was so closely tied to an adult mogul surrounded by a culture that, in hindsight, raises a lot of red flags. This renewed media attention has also put his parents under fire, with critics arguing they neglected Justin's well-being during one of the most vulnerable phases of his life. Bieber's connection to Diddy has always been a topic of intrigue, but the conversation feels much more urgent now. With Diddy facing serious allegations, including sex trafficking and racketeering, the focus has shifted to his history of close relationships with young stars like Bieber and Usher. While neither Bieber nor Usher have been implicated in any wrongdoing, their names continue to come up whenever Diddy's past is discussed. Former Playboy model Precious Muir, who attended one of Diddy's infamous parties, has recently spoken out, adding even more fuel to the growing scrutiny around the hip-hop mogul's past. In an interview with the Mirror US, Muir reflected on what she witnessed and made it clear that Justin Bieber, who was just a teenager at the time, should have been protected. Her comments hit hard, especially considering the chaotic environment Justin was thrust into at such a young age. The former child star's rise to fame was meteoric, but it's becoming increasingly clear that not enough people were looking out for his well-being behind the scenes. Muir expressed a deep sense of regret, saying she wishes she could turn back time to change what happened, or perhaps even intervene at those notorious gatherings that have now taken on a darker reputation. Precious Muir didn't hold back when discussing her concerns about Justin Bieber's past connection to Diddy. In her conversation with the Mirror US, she raised unsettling implications, particularly about a young child sleeping over at this grown man's house. Her comments highlight the uncomfortable reality of power dynamics in the music industry, especially when someone as influential and commanding as Diddy was involved. Muir emphasized that the final say in a young star's life should always lie with their parents or guardians. That should be the holy grail. No external force, no matter how powerful, persuasive, or influential, should dictate where these young artists go or who they spend their time with. It's a point that hits home when reflecting on Bieber's meteoric rise to fame as a teenager and the environments he was exposed to under the industry's watchful but often exploitative eye. What's particularly chilling is Muir's insight into Diddy's ability to manipulate those around him. She described the mogul as being very good at convincing people to do things that they probably don't want to do. It's a statement that adds a heavy layer to the growing scrutiny surrounding Diddy's past relationships with young talent. It raises a haunting question. How many decisions were made under his influence that left these young stars vulnerable? And it's not Muir. In a recent YouTube interview with former mobster Michael Franzese, Suge Knight dropped some seriously troubling claims about Diddy's early interactions with Justin Bieber. Knight didn't hold back, implying that the Bad Boy Records mogul may have taken an unhealthy interest in Bieber during the early years of his career, back when Justin was still a young, impressionable pop star on the rise. It's the kind of statement that raises a lot of eyebrows and even more questions. Diddy's influence in the music industry during that time was massive, and his close relationships with young talent like Bieber have long been a topic of debate. But Knight's comments add an even darker edge to the conversation, suggesting that Diddy's interest in the teenage superstar might not have been as innocent as it seemed. For fans who followed Justin's journey from the very beginning, this hits differently. The idea that someone as powerful as Diddy could have had this kind of influence during such a vulnerable period of Justin's life is unsettling, to say the least. And with Diddy now facing serious allegations across the board, it's no surprise that people are revisiting his past and questioning everything. It was the saddest thing in the world what they did to Justin Bieber, Knight said, adding, "I hate to say that because I really like Justin Bieber. I feel bad for Justin Bieber." Knight further alleged that Diddy's associates arranged vacations for Justin Bieber with older men during his teenage years. He had grown men take Justin Bieber when he was young on romantic vacations, showing pictures on Instagram with no women. Nobody else but grown successful men and this little kid, Knight claimed. Not only is it a bad look, it's sad. Earlier this year, an old video resurfaced showing Sean Diddy Combs and rapper The Game giving Justin Bieber drinks at a party, and it quickly went viral. The footage sparked a wave of outrage online, with netizens speculating that Justin, who was still a teenager at the time, may have been drugged and taken advantage of during the event. Ever since all of this started coming to light, Justin Bieber has noticeably pulled back, and those close to him say it's taking a heavy toll. Fans have pointed out how quiet and distant he's been in recent months, and according to Hailey Bieber, it's not just a coincidence. It's directly tied to his past with Diddy, or Puffy, as he's often called. Hailey has reportedly shared that Justin has been extremely stressed, and a lot of it stems from the resurfacing of troubling incidents from his younger years. It's clear that revisiting this part of his life, where he was thrust into situations no teenager should have to navigate, has been incredibly difficult for him. The weight of these past experiences, combined with the renewed media scrutiny, seems to have left Justin feeling distressed and overwhelmed. It's heartbreaking when you consider how young Justin was when he first came into contact with these powerful industry figures. While the world saw him as a rising superstar, behind the scenes he was still just a kid trying to figure out life. Now, as all these revelations about Diddy come to the surface, it seems to have reopened wounds that Justin has spent years trying to heal from. So, what do you think? Comment down below and let us know. If you liked this video, click the subscribe button and hit the bell icon to be the first to see my next video. I post updates like this every week where I uncover the secrets of your favorite celebrities.